We'll start. Okay. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Okay. Good morning, dear distinguished guests. Shri S. Kiran Kumar, Chairman, Governing Council of IAA and member of Space Commission, Government of India. Dr. S. Sita, member of the Governing Council of IAA. Professor S. Hassan, former director of IAA and director Professor Annapurna Subramaniam. And Dean of IAA and other dear and members of the Solar Authority, past and present, who are gathered here, and students. I am honored to stand here and to represent the Solar Physics Group of IAA. My name is S.P. Rajaguru, and it's both a privilege and an honor and pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of the Solar Group of IAA and of the organizing committee of this event to this momentous occasion of celebrating the 125th anniversary of the Kodaikanal Solar Observatory. So 125 years ago on these hills, despite their colonial ambitions, the British Empire founded this observatory, appointed dedicated individuals, astronomers and scientists to pursue meaningful activity borrowed from Professor Vaidubappu's word to describe the pursuit of astronomy. So the Solar Observatory was founded to expand on the activities of the Madras Observatory with a special focus on studying the sun and its effect on Earth. Today, many of you gathered here had your whole career dedicated to contribute to and to expand the activities of the observatory to further our knowledge frontier in solar physics. Yeah. There is no light to the face. Okay. So we are the current members of the Solar Physics Group of IAA and at the observatory feel an immense sense of gratitude, appreciation for your work, and welcome you all to this inaugural event of the 125th anniversary celebrations. So Professor Vaidubappu, when he expanded on the activities of this observatory by building Asia's largest nighttime telescope at that time at Kavalur, about 44 years ago, he narrated the technological pursuits of IAA while also noting the basic and traditional lifestyle of villagers around Kavalur. He described the astronomical pursuit as a meaningful activity to deepen our understanding of our place in this universe. For us solar physicists, as the knowledge frontier has expanded, studying the sun and the solar system to understand and other solar systems being discovered, and of course, we have much more practical benefits of studying the sun, as our lives and technologies increasingly depend on the weather in space and its effect on Earth. Just as the great leap that Professor Bappu took when he expanded on the activities of this observatory nearly half a century ago, the next major expansion of our solar physics facility to be managed by IAA is due now, the National Large Solar Telescope Project, for which we have already made more than a decade of efforts. So while marking this 125th anniversary of KSO, we, the solar physics community, feels energized to pursue our efforts further to realize that ambition. We are all very excited to host you here at this event, and I welcome you all once again. Okay, now may I welcome May I welcome the dignitaries to the stage. Sri Kiran Kumar, Chair of Governing Council of IAA, and Dr. Sita, Member of Governing Council of IAA, and Professor Annapurni Subramaniam, Director of IAA, and Professor Hassan, former Director of IAA. Please come on to the stage. I welcome the Dean, IAA, Sanisha Reddy, the present shawls, and eclipse photo frames to the dignitaries. So now I invite the dignitaries to watering the saplings here. So next, I invite our Chair of the Governing Council, Sri Kiran Kumar, to unveil the logo of KSO 125 celebration. I also invite Sri Kiran Kumar to release this KSO 125 booklet, which you brought out from the Solar Physics group. So we will now have the program of speeches by our dignitaries. We start with recorded video from the Secretary of DST, Professor Abhay Karandikar. Audio. Can you play it again?
Namaskar. In the Siran Hill Station of Kodaikanal, the Kodaikanal Solar Observatory stands as a testimony to India's rich astronomical heritage. The observatory is one of the field stations of the Indian Institute of Astrophysics and has played a starring role in unlocking the secrets of our closest star, that is the Sun. As we celebrate its 125th anniversary, it is crucial to reflect on the observatory's enduring legacy and its pivotal role in advancing solar research and education in India. Established in 1899, the Kodaikanal Solar Observatory was envisioned to further the studies in astrophysics with a thrust in solar physics. Over the decades, KSO has evolved, incorporating cutting-edge technologies and research methodologies to study the Sun. Its strategic location at an elevation of over 2,300 meters offers a unique vantage point for solar observations, largely unaffected by the atmospheric disturbances common at lower altitudes. The observatory is renowned for its state-of-the-art facility, including the Solar Tunnel Telescope, which is a key tool for high-resolution observation of solar activity. This instrument, among others, has enabled the researchers to study the magnetic field, chromospheric activities, and other dynamic processes. These efforts have placed the observatory at the forefront of the solar research, fostering collaborations with the international institutions and contributing to groundbreaking discoveries in astrophysics. Beyond its scientific achievement, the Kodaikanal Solar Observatory plays a vital role in education and outreach. It has been instrumental in nurturing the future generation of astronomers, offering training and research opportunities for students and young scientists. As we commemorate 125 years of the Kodaikanal Solar Observatory, its legacy is not just in the discoveries that have been made, but in the continued promise it holds for the future of the solar research. In an era where understanding our sun is more crucial than ever, given its implications on technology and climate, the observatory's contributions are invaluable. It stands as a beacon of India's commitment to scientific exploration and discovery, highlighting the nation's role in the global scientific community. The observatory's journey over the years encapsulates the spirit of inquiry and perseverance. As we look forward to the future, the Kodaikanal Solar Observatory is poised to continue its exploration of the cosmos, contributing to our collective quest for knowledge. In doing so, it not only upholds a rich legacy, but also inspires a new generation of scientists in pursuit of the unknowns that lie beyond. I believe that the scientists and researchers at KSO will continue to explore new frontiers using modern techniques to unravel the complexities of solar activity. Thank you all and wish you all the best on this momentous occasion. Jai Hind.
May I now invite Professor Annapurni Subramanian, Director of IAA, give her address.
A very good morning to you all. And I'm really happy to see the KSO, the old IA community, as well as the KSO community gathered over here. And I'm really thankful to our Governing Council Chair, Sri Kiran Kumarji, to come here, and the Governing Council member, Dr. Sita, and Dr. Hassan, to be around for this occasion. And we also have a number of people joining online to watch this program. So I welcome you all to this program. It's a momentous milestone, and this milestone is not something which you commonly come across in any scientific organization, because 125 years completion of a scientific pursuit from one place is not something which you come across very commonly. I repeat that because you set up something, setting up is extremely difficult, and not only setting up, continue the pursuit over 125 years. It takes generations of people, generations of aspirations, generations of curiosity, generations of hard work and time involved in this, and continued support from the authorities, the government, to give help for the pursuit of that knowledge. So it encompasses the overall contribution from right from the scientists to supporting staff to the government, etc., to complete this 125 years. And that also is needed to, inspire generations and continue that quest. And this stands as what do you say, as a something you can look back and say that yes, this has happened over in the country, right? Because something comes in a long time span in the history, it actually leaves a stamp, leaves an imprint. And in that matter, I mean, we are not even looking at something which is done and dusted. It is not that we are continuing with the pursuit. And I don't think I need to explain to this audience what it takes to do that, right? So we are here to acknowledge that and also celebrate that quest, that ambition, that inspiration everybody keeps to keep the pursuit going. We can see a couple of generations in front of us. but there are generations of people who have contributed to this pursuit over the years, which are not visible physically over here, but they are they were the pillars, and they were on their shoulders we are standing to continue the pursuit. So we should acknowledge all the contribution done by starting from the directors who are leading this organization for a very long time, and we can see Evershed's name everywhere, and etc. And the other directors who try to continue. That is, they just actually showed the way or guided and made sure that things worked. But the people worked over here as such actually carried out the work and made sure that happened. And the ideas which generated in this place actually helped it to solve various outstanding questions in the scientific pursuit. I also want to convey one more point that which I think we should also reflect upon, is that the pursuit started over here for the entire journey of IA, because you had the observatory, you had the workshops, you had the instrument making, everything here in-house. And when Bapu established Kavadu, the trained people from here actually supported for that to be set up. And Kavadu was built, and it was actually brought into another field station to pursue in pursuit of nighttime astronomy. But the techniques, the training, the overall academic atmosphere, everything was transferred there. And the headquarters, of course, moved to Bangalore. So again, it came from Kodaikanal. Now, when we set up the Hanle Observatory, which is another big field station for IO now, it also did have had a lot of knowledge with respect to nighttime astronomy, did help in setting up the Bay Observatory and the initial stages of the Bay Observatory. And then the conditions different, but then you another group of people taking over there. So I am also talking about the legacy this place has in contributing to the continued pursuit in different locations in India, starting from south to the north. So if you look at that, the Kodaikanal Solar Observatory has laid the foundation for pursuit of knowledge in multiple ways, not only in terms of science, not only in terms of generating resources, but also in terms of instrumentation, know-how, and engineering skills. So I think we also have to, reflect on this particular aspect. And of course, new generations are getting trained on multiple field stations. It's like, hand-holding and generations multiplying and spreading across. So it has contributed a lot to the scientific pursuit in the country on the whole, though the overall topic is just astronomy. So I hope that this pursuit continues, and also all the field stations continue to grow, and they also continue to celebrate, 100 years of pursuit. It's very important to convey that scientific thinking, scientific pursuit, and ambition and perseverance. So that is extremely important. The perseverance of generations is the what we see right now here. So I stopped there, and also the library, of course, holds the knowledge center here. But the context with which the library was there at that time, and the context with the library was over here right now is changed. But still, the library holds the knowledge, and we also are looking at digitizing the content of the library and making sure that it is available. If you talk to people in your generation, oh my God, is that how it is done? Even the context of how it was done is lost. So we have to preserve not only the current content, but how things were done over the days, etc. There will be many ways we can learn from that times as well. So thank you all for coming, and I'm really happy that this thing is happening here. And we are also having a number of programs planned for the coming year as well. So please stay tuned and be participating in various programs through the year. And I wish the program all success throughout the year. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, may I invite Professor Hassan, former director of IAA, to say a few words.
Distinguished guests and friends, what an honor it is to be here in these historic surroundings, surrounded by these beautiful forests of pine trees and flowers, and the rich heritage that we associate with Kodaikanal. In fact, if one were to talk about the importance of the Kodaikanal Observatory, this is where the seeds of solar physics were sown, not only at IIA, but I would say in the whole of the country. So I would say that this has a very central, occupies a very central position in the birth and growth of this field in India. Now, we are celebrating 125 years. That's when the construction of the observatory began in 1899. But the first observations only started around 1901. And we are really so fortunate that we have an uninterrupted data going back over 100 years in white light, calcium K, and H alpha. And in 2000, around 2006, a major program was initiated at the IIA to digitize this data. And this was a mammoth task. It took several years, and a large number of people contributed to this effort. And I'm happy to say that this project was successful. And IIA is one of the major international observatories which has this large uninterrupted set of data. And this data now has been used, is being used. Is first of all, it's freely available. And I've always felt that if you are privileged enough to have such valuable data, you must share it with the entire scientific community, which is what we are doing. And a large number of papers have already come out and continue to come out. Now, in 1909, on the 9th of January, 1909, a very major, is there an echo? Here are some. A very major discovery took place at this place. It's called after the discoverer, John Evershed. It was the outflow of motion from the umbrae of sunspots. Now, this, to commemorate this occasion in 2008, end of 2008, the IIA held a major international conference in which people from all over the world came and heard about, well, there were a large number of papers, not only on the discovery, but on various aspects associated with the Evershed effect. Now, apart from the archival data, which I talked about, and the Evershed effect, there have been a large number of observations. It wasn't just that everything stopped in 1909 after the Evershed effect discovery. There was a continuous, sustained effort, perhaps, and science is usually not major discoveries, but it's a continuous, sustained effort. And one of these was the observations. There were about 60,000 observations of prominences which took place between 1904 and 1914. And these were compiled, and a paper on this was published by John Evershed and his wife, Mary Evershed. And maybe there is something about it in this booklet, but there has been something written about it in an earlier booklet. So this was a major landmark paper in which an analysis of a very large number of prominences from Kodaikanal was undertaken. Now, on a personal note, I would like to narrate a very small anecdote concerning our founder director, Professor Bapu. I remember in 1978, I was scheduled to I was going to a conference on prominences in Oslo. And Professor Bapu asked me which observations I planned to show. And I said, well, I had come across some spectacular observations of prominences. One of them was the famous Granddaddy prominence, which took place in 1946, which is considered one of the most spectacular prominences observed. And he looked at me rather disappointed. And he said, have you bothered to look at the archive of data taken from Kodaikanal? And I said, I'm sorry, I overlooked that. He said, well, come over tomorrow morning to my office and I will show you, which I did. And the next morning, I was exposed to a most breathtaking, he showed me these observations taken from Kodaikanal, and I felt that, how come when I wasn't talking about something which you see in textbooks, but not about something which is part of our heritage and which is of very high quality. So that I thought I should mention that. Now, Kodaikanal is has some limitation in seeing. Of course, it's also affected by the monsoon, so that does reduce the number of days. So it's not always the most ideal site for setting up a new major international facility, but it continues to provide regular observations which extend the baseline that we have of the existing data. So it has a very useful role in contributing synoptic data. In addition to that, it's an ideal place for testing new instruments, for training people, because the instruments that we have here, we have, in addition to you heard about the tunnel telescope, but in addition to that, we have several other instruments. We have the twin telescope, we have the H-alpha telescope. So we have other instruments, and these are ideal for training new people. And in addition, I should say that I already mentioned about these beautiful surroundings. These are ideal for holding schools and workshops and things like that, and for meetings like this. So before concluding, I would like to congratulate our director, Ravindra, Rajguru, the whole team, and the scientists of IIA who have taken this initiative to celebrate this landmark moment, the 125th years of the observatory, where we not only reflect on the achievements of the observatory, but we also honor the people who have contributed to it. And I cannot, before I end, I must say that it is when I see this galaxy of, or in this audience of people who have an association more than many people have been around on this planet, so it's really very heartening that they have come all this way to come and be part of these celebrations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Hassan. Now, may I invite Dr. Sita, member of the Governing Council of IIA, to say a few words.
At this occasion of completion of 125 years of Kodaikanal Observatory. It has had several events which can be called milestones, and we will hear more about it. Famous for its erosion recovery and the establishment of the solar telescope in the 1960s. When Dr. came back here and establishing it at this place, which is remote from practical purposes point of view, ideal from the site point of view. And of course, as Professor Hassan mentioned, the other telescopes which gradually got established here. And there are many researchers who worked using these telescopes and have got their PhDs from here. And there are many of them here with us today, and it's even a very bigger occasion for them. I hope with the digitization of even the early handwritten manuscripts and drawings, I hope some of these will find their place in the textbooks of the schools, where then students will know that we have such a grand legacy in our country, also understanding. And I hope many of these cities here have what's spread all over the country and also abroad, will continue to work on research in science, in solar astronomy particularly, and continue also with the data from Aditya. And then we would have a series of pictures starting from Kodaikanal, then the other solar observatories in the country and also the space observatory. And I look forward to that. In addition to contributing to research from the three schools, not so remote now, I should really congratulate all the faculty and the administrative staff here, and also the technical staff here for making this originating first in these activities. I also meet a lot of people from Cover, as Annapurna mentioned, many people from here moved over to Kavli and that was set up. So it was great for me to meet them. And in addition, I should say, the people, the members of this observatory, I should congratulate them and educating the visitors to come to Kodaikanal, and also those who are in and out, living in and around Kodaikanal on the activities of this observatory. And that's extremely important, and I congratulate them on this. So with these words, we forward a grand celebration of activities. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sita. So now we'll play out an audio message from Dr. John Liebacher. He is the former director of National Solar Observatory of the USA, and he was also scientific advisory committee member of IAA recently.
Professors, friends and colleagues, distinguished guests, I'm honored to be invited to contribute a few words on the occasion of your celebration of the 125 years of science and public engagement at the world famous Kodaikanal Solar Observatory. But maybe I should introduce myself first. My name is John Liebacher. I was for many years the director of the U.S. National Solar Observatory at Sacramento and Kippy, and director of the Global Oscillation Network Group, GONAM. And in the mission, I've been editor-in-chief of the Journal of Solar Physics for nearly 20 years now. I've had the pleasure of visiting the area on numerous occasions over more than 40 years, and providing I've been mentioning a very productive and very pleasant and memorable conference. The world's last international astronomical meeting globally over 20th century. It was organized by Venkat Krishnan and Chile, I believe. I've also enjoyed meeting with your governing council, and most recently serving as a member of the IAA Scientific Advisory Committee. So I hope that these comments are informed. Along with the history and significance of Kodaikanal, history written by Suraj and colleagues for the centenary of the discovery of the watershed effect. I will recommend that for first building introduction to Kodai was through the work of Ohio Chevron and General C, a fabulous collection of sunspot data from Kodai. I applaud your work accompanying the way for the digital and fiscal online to empower the surely enhance the scientific output for the past and future use of Kodai. But this is a celebration of retrospective, and in this age of high spatial resolution, solar observations from the ground and observations from space above the Earth's atmosphere in the UV and X-rays, it's important to recall that Kodai has a continuing, essential, and complementary role in instrumentation development between the next generation of solar physicists and instrumentalists, in addition to its traditional roles. Particularly with the detailed congratulations, I hope, for this fantastic accomplishment. And NLSC should start construction very soon. There is continuing role for proactive in some the whole sun macroscopic view of large-scale solar and stellar processes, activity cycles, magnetic dynamos, area circulation, and so on. We've made tremendous progress in all of these recently, but there's still a huge amount that really needs to be done, and it can be done particularly well at KI. So best wishes for continuing scientific events at as well as its utilization as a site for schools and conferences, and strong public engagement, which has been more and more appreciated around the world. Please permit me to conclude by the information. We in the worldwide solar physician are all looking for to take its place as a spatial solution facility. Restoration of the small-scale physical processes to control the sun's atmosphere and thus solar atmospheres. By decades to the down-the-through annual solar telescope in Hawaii has just gone online, and it's working spectacularly well in the city. And hopefully we're planning the European Solar Telescope in the Netherlands, which will meet Sunday, and LST's unmatched and complementary capabilities at Pangong Lake, located 100 degrees and longitude away from these other two, one to the east and one to the west, so we can study small spatial scale processes and some 24 hours a day will offer unmatched opportunities to the Indian and international solar physics community and continue the long and proud heritage of Indian leadership in solar physics. So best wishes to KSO and all of their Korai on this happy occasion and many, many happy returns. Namaste. Then Shukriya.
Thanks to John. May I now invite Shri Kiran Kumar, Chair of the Governing Council of IAA, to have with us.
Good morning to all of you. Professor Annapurni Subramanian, Director of IAA, Siraj Hassan, former Director, Sita, Governing Council member, and all of you who have gathered here and all those who are watching online. It's really a great day because we need to celebrate successes, celebrate events. It's only in this process of celebration that we remind ourselves of what has been done and what needs to be done. I should compliment you for making this happen on the completion of 125 years of everything when human being has always been looking at sun, who is the source of energy for the entire activities on life. In our own traditions, we have seen Aditya, sun, elevated to so many different levels apart from the physical activity of providing energy to all life forms on planet Earth. And it is in this context that human beings started looking at what is happening and how this can be correlated to what is happening to him on the planet Earth, whether it is the day, year, and seasons, and all that. So naturally, he started looking at it with bare eyes, and when he found that that was not sufficient to make sense, he started finding ways of doing these observations in a systematic manner. And we have probably records of millions of such data. So if you look at this entity, this Kodaikanal Observatory itself, you can see that somebody can think of a place like this, find, search it, and establish a method by which we can do systematic studies beyond the surface at an elevated place to get better and long-term observation. And today we have seen that this has been taken much beyond. We have already started, as man was mentioning, going from south to north, and then even beyond the Aditya at a Lagrange point, we're looking at sun. So if you also look at the capability of observation itself and how to record this information, here human beings were only writing down what they had observed and then subsequently found ways of capturing it on when the film started, photographic plates and then film, the technology changed so systematically and so rapidly that today you have got CCD cameras or photo detectors which can operate not only in one area but a large number of them. And the time period in which you make observation, earlier with the photographic plate, the amount of time that was required, and making the observation and capturing it, then you can get it in maybe fractions, nanosecond, picosecond, or even attoseconds, observations are possible. So technology is continuously changing to enable us make observations in more and more different manner, and through that try and comprehend what is happening. So again, if you look at a place like Kodaikanal, even about 125 years back, if somebody had to come here and set up the thing, what kind of difficulties they could have encountered. But then, as the professor was mentioning, one thing is to start, but then to sustain it requires a lot more effort at very different levels, even purely from logistics of how Kodaikanal itself has changed. And today, the picture that is there of Kodaikanal becoming a huge tourist attraction place, consequently maintaining this Kodaikanal Observatory and protecting its environments and also the place it has got is also becoming a challenge. And then you also saw just a few days back, there was a huge article in the paper talking about the difficulties of the Kodaikanal's first growth. Then today, when all this has to be looked at, this 125 years is again a great event to remind us, as was pointed out, many generations have gone through the process here, and now things are changing, they're changing at such rapid pace. So while we started looking from surface to elevated places to orbital platforms, today India is also looking at when the government has said that we will land on moon by 2047, that is 100th year of our independence, this in itself is not going to be an end. Can we look at moon as a place for observing sun and observing earth? And then if we have to set up huge observatories there, what kind of things we need and what kind of new capabilities it will provide. So it is in this context that we need to take advantage of this opportunity of bringing together all those who have mattered in the past. And while we remind ourselves of how things have happened here. And also another very important aspect which was brought out is these many years of observations at this place has been digitized and is available for analysis. And it's only when we make the best use of what data we have collected and keep looking at it again and again, then only we realize there are so many hidden things, hidden information that is there to be discovered. We all realize that when we are looking for something very specific, we have a whole lot of other things present in the same data. It's only when you start looking at the data with a different perspective, you will see that what is present in that data, how we missed it. When somebody points out, it is actually start feeling, how did I miss this observation? But then this is where the real challenge is. One is to make observations and make a record of it in such a way that it is available for others to look at it so that they bring in a very different perspective. In fact, in many ways, what happens here is every individual, every human being actually has a recording system within him or her, which is constantly recording all the observations. Many times you yourself will feel that something that happened way back in the past, you will be able to recall that and then find some detail which are normally miss on notice. That is because recording has happened. And if you are ready to make observation, look at it with a different perspective, you can achieve that. So on this occasion of 125 years of existence at a place where in the past probably it would have been far difficult to even bring something to the site, set it up, and then make it work. And then when we are celebrating this 125 years of existence, we need to look at what we can do further and how what we have already done can become the source of tomorrow's new observations and new corroborations, new findings, and for that, enabling the collected data to be available for today's machine learning and artificial intelligence-based learning or data science techniques and how to make it happen. If we pay a little more attention to that and then correlate what has happened and look at what new things we can do from now on, not only ensuring that this observatory is preserved for what it can do for future, but ensuring that we provide significant inputs for the human society so that it can last on this planet for ever so longer than what apparently appears today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shekhar and Kumar. So now, may I invite my colleagues, Jayant Joshi and Neeraj Mohan, to have a short presentation on the history of Kodaikanal Solar Observatory. It will be a video. Okay. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. You have heard about the history of the Kodaikanal Solar Observatory verbally. So there's a chance to look into the history by the pictures. It's a bit a daunting task for me because when I started my PhD, this observatory was already 110 years old. So, so as yeah. So, as many of you know, that is started from the Madras Observatory. So this is the hand-drawn image of the Madras Observatory, and actually is so William Petrie was an amateur astronomer, and he set up the private observatory in 1786. And the purpose, then he wanted to, because he was going for a leave for a few years, couple of years, he wanted to gift it to the authorities, and the authority decided to establish the Madras Observatory for promoting the astronomy, geography, and the navigation in India. So this this is the first the handwritten manuscript which actually established that the observatory was set up in the 1786. So one of the achievement of the Madras Observatory that it has a very vast catalog of more than 11,000 southern stars, their position and the brightness, and that was basically published. So this was the Madras Observatory, one of the biggest scientific achievement. So the Madras Observatory in the later times looks like this. So this is the between the 1860 to 1890. And during the Madras Observatory, the solar eclipse, of course, happened during this extended time, and a lot of expedition for the eclipse observation was happened. So actually, Norman Pogson has led three different solar expeditions. Two were the full eclipse, and one was the annular eclipse, and that he observed. So this is his hand-drawn spectrum, and there they observe the one new line close to the sodium D2 actually. And the later, the Norman actually discovered, he had a similar observation, and then he discovered the helium. So this observation also actually deserved to be called as a discovery for the helium. So then Pogson has wanted to have established the 20-inch solar telescope in 1882. So then the authority has suggested to search for a new site. So in the south in Highland. So Mickey Smith actually did the survey in the two places, in the Nilgiris and the Palani Hills, between the 1883 to 1885. And around 1891, decision was made that the observatory will be established in the Kodaikanal based on the observation was taken during this survey, the stability of the images and the resolution, what they got, they decided the Kodaikanal is the better site for setting up the solar observatory. So this is when the solar observatory was established, 1899, and this is how the first building looked like at that time. So Mickey Smith was the first director from 1899 to 1911. And this is around the 1908, how the observatory actually looked like. So then at that time, there was a 6-inch refractor, and this is actually established in, I think it was bought and refurbished, and it is still observing and making the observation from the photographic plates. And then actually joined Evershed joined the Kodaikanal. So he came to Kodaikanal in 1907, and he was the director from 1911 to 1923. And then, as you all heard, that he did this famous discovery of the radial outflow of the plasma in sunspot penumbra. So this is his spectrograph. So he built a very efficient spectrograph, and these are the spectra he observed. And we created a sketch to demonstrate what he sees. So what he sees in this image is the spectral line so this is the dark part of the sunspot, and this is the penumbra. The lines are basically on other side are shifted, one in the red side and one in the blue side. So that how it was interpreted as a radial outflow in the sunspot. So 100-year celebration happened, as Professor Hassan said, and the stamp was released, and I think the international conference was organized in the Bangalore. And then comes the next big development is that government has established the committee under the famous Meghnad Saha, and the mandate was for that committee is to look for the development of the astronomy in India. And one of the recommendation of that Saha committee was to basically establish the facility to enhance the solar observations. So that committee was established in 1945. A lot of development happened after following the recommendation. So in 1960s, the Kodaikanal Tunnel Tower telescope was established. So it is, although 15 years after that Saha committee, the establishment of this telescope has an influence from the recommendation from Saha committee. So this is the dome and the telescope under construction, and after the full construction in the 1960s, how the telescope looks like this. So slit open, and you see the celestite mirrors. And the Kodaikanal is not just limited to the solar physics, but also the solar terrestrial physics has been done here. So you see that the ionograms are recorded on the films, and there has a legacy in the observatory to do the ionospheric study as well. And then subsequently, there were many directors on the Kodaikanal Observatory. And when Bapu became the director in 1960s, so you see the picture of him with the Kodaikanal staff. So here is Bapu and the Kodaikanal staff. So I just want to give an overview that what telescopes we have here right now. So there is a twin telescope, 250-centimeter telescope, and it is functional since 2008. And when weather it allows, it take the full disk images almost every day. And then right now we have the warm telescope. So it is the white light images and the calcium K images. So this is the light feeding system. And then this is the image just taken yesterday. And then we have a H-alpha telescope that is, okay, so it is a 20-centimeter doublet telescope, and they take the full disk H-alpha images, and you see the H-alpha images. This is also again taken yesterday only. And then this observatory has been blessed with many notable visitors. So Chandrasekhar visited in the 1961, and our first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru also visited observatory. Then the Prime Minister Indira Gandhi also visited the observatory. So I have our outreach and the public engagement division has prepared a short 4-minute video, which I will play, which will display the, okay, yeah. Okay. So I will just play the movie.
Let's take you on a journey through time and explore the history of the observatory as well as its instruments and its legacy.
The Madras following the semester of the Indian Observatory's Kodaikanal was chosen as the ideal location for a new facility to study the sun. The Solar Physics Observatory at Kodaikanal was born on the 1st of April 1818. The observatory started functioning with a 6-inch telescope that imaged the sun in white light, as drawings, and then as photographs. A spectroheliograph was also employed to image the sun in HL. Both instruments function to this day.
The observatory soon attained international prominence after John Ebeshek joined Kodaikanal in 1907 as the chief astronomer. In January 1909, he was measuring the Doppler shift in the spectra across sunspots using the spectroheliograph he had built at Kodaikanal. This phenomenon is observed in Ebeshek effect. A stamp was issued on the centenary of this discovery in its commemoration.
Yeah. So you see that the memories, the history of 125 years of the Kodaikanal Solar Observatory has been recorded into the many beautiful images. And you, in the end of this video, you see that the many group photographs are there. So I invite you to come for the group photograph, which will be taken at the badminton field, just in the entrance toward this Evershed guest house premises. And after the group photo, there will be a half an hour break for the tea break will be there. So we will gather back in a half an hour. Thank you.